How you doing, guys? Welcome to ZukaTube, and today we're going to be reviewing a movie called Samaritan. Now, this just came out August 26th of 2022 on Amazon Prime. And this stars Sylvester Stallone. Good old Rocky is back. They don't have much of a description for this film. They just basically say, Samaritan is a 2022 American superhero film, It's described as a dark, new take on a superhero movie. The story was previously adapted into the Mythos Comics graphic novels. Now, I looked into this and I couldn't really find much about this. I found a couple covers. I couldn't pick one up at the store. I couldn't read it online and pay for it type deal. And they don't really give you a summary for the film, but I'm going to play the trailer, give you a general summary of my own, talk a little bit about the pros and cons of the film, give you my review, and then do some spoilers right at the end. Now let's get right into this trailer. Prime Video.
Wait up. What are you doing with all
Wait
this
up.
junk?
I'm dumpster diving on the
Keep me
job.
busy.
Another long night of crime and violence.
Some say it's only a matter of time before the city implodes.
A lot of people rioting in the streets.
I think
Old
we're
man out of
finished
nowhere
here.
rescues the
Come on,
young kid.
I found him. Samaritan.
Samaritan died 25 years ago.
That's what they say.
Did he though? Dun
Do you
dun
think you were across from a
dun.
superhero? Do you have a therapist, kid?
Yeah, kid. Do you have a therapist? What's Gucci?
Samaritan's dead.
You're imagining things.
I pick up garbage for a living, pal.
Samaritan cleaned up the streets.
You mind your business, I'll mind mine.
I don't believe you!
Dang. Look at them all mangled.
Are you okay?
I'm cool.
No.
How strong are you?
Not as strong as I once was. Things start to fall apart when you stop caring.
When
And
you
I
stop
stopped
caring.
a long time ago.
Sly's looking like he's a big dude still, but he's looking old, man.
For some people, it's too late to change the damage they've done.
He's hiding something. I want him dead.
Really?
Boom.
The things you bury tend to haunt you.
Why did you disappear?
Wears a lot of layers in this movie. Samaritan.
Hey, old man! Try this.
Try it. It's the new thing that's out. All right, so it's not the best summary, but it's a pretty decent idea of what to expect when you watch this film. Basically, Sylvester Stallone and the young kid in the trailer, they're the two main characters. The young kid's name is Sam. He basically lives with his mom. They're pretty low on cash. They're constantly on the verge of getting evicted. He's getting into some young rascal stuff, and that's potentially, getting him into some trouble, and then on top of it, potentially getting him some money to save him in some situations, and help him and his mom out. So with that being said, his neighbor is this old man, Joe Smith, and this guy is a garbage man and all this stuff, and he minds his own business and whatever. And you see him dumpster diving on the job, right? But basically this kid, Sam, he runs into a situation with some bad guys, and this guy, he's like a gang leader, and he basically is infatuated with a supervillain of the past named Nemesis. And he had a brother named Samaritan who was a hero that this young kid is obsessed with and thinks still exists by watching videos and stuff online and speculating and just daydreaming about him. He's a super fan, right? He gets rescued in a situation by this old man and believes that he is Samaritan. and it's him investigating and things escalating in his life from there forward. And you kind of get a good idea of that, obviously, from the trailer, right? Now, this film is pretty decent, like, overall, as far as the action and stuff like that. It's a superhero film, but it's not, obviously, like a big movie blockbuster. A lot of the scenes are pretty cool. They do a decent job on the fight scenes and the effects and stuff like that. For the most part, it seems like a lot of practical stuff, but there's definitely some CG stuff thrown in as well. They do a decent job of also diving into the main character, a couple side characters and stuff like that, and then the hero and the villain of the story. I feel the sound was okay. The story is a little typical in some areas, that they have a great kind of twist at the end that I'm not really going to spoil till the end in the spoiler section. Yeah, overall there's some cliche stuff and some, corny lines, because it is, a typical superhero film, but not like a super out of control like adult one. They could expand upon the universe a little bit more, especially if you look into any of the Mythos comic stuff. One thing that I gotta say is, when I was looking up references and stuff, I don't know if the comic came, like, the imagery for certain characters changed or anything, but in the comic now that I saw, there was a bit of, like, race swap stuff like that with the kid. The kid's like a young black kid on the cover, and I'm like, well, then what the hell's this kid doing here? But, that's neither here. Like, that agitates the hell out of me, because it's like, you want the characters to look as true to them as you can. But when you see Sly in the hoodie and everything, it's very reminiscent of the cover that you see when you look up this comic. I would love to be able to dive more into it and read up on that comic book to see how close it runs along with the story there, or if this is all fresh and kind of being adapted as they go and as they develop these characters. I'm not quite sure. They do a good job as well with the main character Sam and his, like, slow build up of the relationship with him and his new friend, Joe Smith, the new old man neighbor that helps him out. And how when he finds out or speculates that he's Samaritan, and he kind of, like, constantly jabs him about it, like, and harps on him about it and asks for help and all this stuff, right? That's all very cool the way they do that. They do a good job on that. And it's wholesome. This is kind of a retired guy that's not really into it, and the only thing that's really going to bring him back into it is something personal. And I do enjoy that with this film, but at the same time, it does drag a bit at times. It does have some kind of really cheesy aspects that you're like, yes, this is a little typical. With the relationship build up, with the kid and the old man, it all starts with the initial rescuing of him, and that's a pretty cool scene. They show you some stuff in the trailer, but let me just show you a little extension of that.
Your mama's gonna hear you scream.
My mom's at work.
Oh yeah? She's gonna find you dead.
They really beat the hell up on this kid in this. Like, they beat up on him.
What's your problem, man? Come on.
What's your problem, man? Bam. Got the backhand, the mean backhand. It's good. I would say definitely check it out if you have Amazon Prime. I probably wouldn't have seen this in the theaters right away. I probably would have bought it on a later release or rented it. I would give this movie a solid 7 out of 10. This was definitely decent. It's always good to see Sylvester Stallone back on screen and stuff like that. It's surprising, obviously, that guys like this are still this, like, big and, kicking butt on screen kind of deal, and I'm sure that's pretty tough. Now, with all that being said, now that you know my review at a 7 out of 10, let's get into the spoilers section. Spoilers. Beep, boop, boop, bop, beep, bop, boop. Now, at the end of this, I did like the twist of this. Now, of course, they're going to get into a hostage situation where the main villain's got to get the kid and use him as leverage to lure in the hero to come and save the day, and then also trap him to defeat him, right? It's very reminiscent to the hero of something that happened in the past with him and his brother that kind of ended his career as a hero and potentially ended the life of his brother. The twist where you finally find out that he was actually constantly being honest of not being Samaritan, but then being honest about what he can do when he said it. Like, and you were like, well, then why don't you just say you're Samaritan? It's because he's not Samaritan, and he was the villain the entire time. Here's a clip of a cool moment from that.
You good guy.
You keep calling me the good guy. I'm not the good guy.
And they show the flashbacks of the hero dying now. And they show a young Sly.
Guy. This is
Boom. Big explosion. Big surprise. Now he's got to go out with a bang type deal. But obviously there's like an extension of all this stuff, and it's pretty gnarly. And he's got a little bit of a thing where when he gets beat up too much, or he's like, you know, overworked, he kind of overheats and he needs water and to cool his body temperature down. But then you wonder, like, why does my man wear so many layers then? If you're always overheating, need to eat a lot of ice cream and shit, aside from not putting on any like serious pounds and becoming like a fat Santa looking guy, what? Like, why are you wearing so many layers, my dude? Why aren't you walking around in like a tank top and shorts in the wintertime? Be like, or just the, you know, like them guys out there in the wintertime with the shorts on. My legs don't get cold. My legs don't get cold. And you're like, dude, it's freezing. Either way, my man's wearing so many layers. And I don't know if that's to keep up with the image of the like almost like near homeless look of the old man being retired and out of it and just kind of disassociating and hiding constantly, you know, that may be in the comics. I thought that overall this was a fun movie, pretty decent. And let me know if this is any bit close to the comic, because I really can't pick myself up a copy like right offhand to get into, and I'm trying to find some and to dive into the story a little bit. But with that being said, Samaritan on Amazon Prime, 7 out of 10. Zookatube out.
Dropping lines like an assembly. I'm staying on point. It's my strategy. Feel like they tracking me. Yo, let me get on one. Nah, go get your tracks up. Homie, can I steal some? Homie, you can't stack up. My brother, can you shout me? You're barking up the wrong tree. My dog, why do you doubt me? Cause you can't do shit without me.
Real like the radio and never play it, but that's cool. The enemy's supposed to hate it.